we got reported we got reported to the cops by another high school for doing burnouts. Senior year of high school, me and my buddies ran cross country, and and we were definitely a group of kind of wild, out of control kids. We all got cut from other sports, and we all ended up running cross country together. So it was like going to practice with all of your best friends after school, and we didn't really care that much about the sports, so we just would goon and hang out. So we got to kind of double our time together as high school friends growing up because we were at school all day together and we'd go to practice. And we went to Cufcath, which everyone knows Cufcath is like the notoriously disliked school by a lot of other schools in the area just because it's the Catholic prep school and we're pretty much good at everything. And we had gotten into a really bad habit our senior year of stealing my buddy 7.5's truck and taking it for joyrides. It was one of his it was his dad's old work trucks. And it was a beat up old Chevy, but it ran great. And he was the one that had said, "Oh, it's like the best truck for doing burnouts in." And then my buddy Beef would always steal his keys, and it never failed that they would get to me and my buddy Lenny, who had seventh period study hall. That was the last class of the day. We would leave early and go joyride, whether it was 7.5's car or somebody else's. It just tended to be 7.5's truck that we would take around for joyrides. Well, we we have basically an hour before we have to be back for practice. So me and Lenny hop in 7.5's truck. We're driving around Devout Park, which is this park behind Cufcath. And really nice area, right? Like they got a really nice golf course up there, a big concert gazebo thing, and that was just the closest place for us to go mess around because there's neighborhoods and stuff up there. You know, we would just, again, we were hooligans, and we would never get caught or in trouble because no one ever suspected that it would be the cross country team that was doing these notorious activities. We are driving around Devout Park, and there's this overlook at the top of the park that overlooks the city of Cincinnati from the Kentucky side. It's a really cool view. That's where we would always drive to. And, you know, me and Lenny are cruising, bumping our rap music. I think there might have been a third person with us. I don't remember if Griff or Beef were with us on this particular drive, but we get up to the overlook, and there's this asphalt parking lot, and everyone knows the old school asphalt where it's that black tar stuff that they run over the parking lot again and again. It's the perfect surface to do a burnout in. Like if you really want to smoke the tires and get that real loud all the way out of the parking lot, find a freshly paved asphalt parking lot. That's the place to do it. We go up there and we're going to burn out. That was our plan. We're just going to go drive around, listen to rap music, and do burnouts. And as we're driving up to the overlook, we see another cross country team. And it's easy to identify a cross country team, especially at high school, because it's just a bunch of skinny white dudes running around shirtless. So it's very easy to identify another cross country team. And we, go to Cufcath, running in Northern Kentucky. There was a lot of other cross country teams that you would see out during practices. So me and Lenny see him, and I'm like, "Who is that?" We get a little closer. I'm like, "Oh, it's Villa. It's Villa." We don't really care about Villa, but in our minds, everybody was our rival because we just liked talking shit and mess with kids. So, no joke, right as we identify who it is, their coach has him in a huddle and clearly is done talking and takes off running. So we loop around, we wait until the coach is kind of out of sight, and right as we pull in the parking lot, you can tell they're about to take off running again. We start saying, "Hey, boys," we're fucking jackasses. So we're screaming a bunch of stupid shit, and Letty pulls up, and not only does Letty pull up like near them, he blocks their route to leave the parking lot because it's a little parking lot. There's one entrance, and they start running towards it. Letty stops right in front of him, and he goes, "Hey, boys, like my truck?" And you can tell they're creeped out, right? Like I was able to keep a straight face. Like they don't know that we're cross-country runners from another school. They have no idea who we are. They stop, and they don't respond. Like, you can tell they're trying to ignore us, but we basically have trapped them in the parking lot. So as they try to change directions and run through the grass just to leave the parking lot, Letty starts doing the most vicious burnout I have ever seen. To this day, I will never forget. I'll vividly remember because it's like a beautiful fall day. It's sunny out, perfect weather, and Letty just starts ripping this burnout in 7.5's truck, and we are just gliding. And not only are we doing a burnout in this parking lot, but there's no other cars, and it's just this group of shirtless white kids, right? It's just this group of shirtless cross-country kids just watching this burnout take place. And when I tell you, he spun us around the entire perimeter of the parking lot. He is just like, and I'm like, oh shit, because like, you got all the concrete. It was just this crazy burnout that literally spins around the whole perimeter of the parking lot, and he's going around these kids. So half of them take off running. The other ones, and I don't know if they were younger or what, but you can tell they're terrified, and they're just like watching this burnout take place. We got like Childish Gambino bumping, and there's smoke everywhere. And I couldn't even get a hold of myself. Well, I couldn't even get a hold of myself. I was laughing so hard. This burnout just keeps going and going and going. And after like his second or third loop around these kids, he just lets off the gas, slides into a little stop, and then boom, he takes off out of the parking lot. A couple days later, we're at another practice, and our coach is like, any seniors? And he's like informally addresses us because we used to be in this little baseball locker room. That's where the cross country kids would meet before practice. And our coach happens to make a comment, were any seniors that get out early up in DeVue Park a couple days ago? Me and Lenny say nothing. And half of our buddies don't even know about it because we just didn't say anything because we would always just return 7-5's truck before we would go to practice. So, like, we got back there that day, tossed 7-5 his keys. He's like, you guys take my truck again? We're like, yeah, man, I'm sorry. Beef gave us the keys. We had to take a little ride, So, like, and again, I'm not saying it was right. It was just what we did as high schoolers. So, we're in practice, and our coach happens to bring up, hey, we're interviewing DeVue Park yesterday. We're like, no, of course not. What are you talking about? And he's like, well, Villa Madonna happened to call the Park Hills police, who contacted the DeVue Park Rangers because there was a truck burning out in one of their public parking lots. And we don't say anything, right? It was just so funny because 7-5's all over the truck. So our coach is kind of like hinting at 7-5, like, hey, were you up in DeVue Park? And he's like, no, it wasn't in DeVue Park. I was in class. Like, what are you talking about? I was up DeVue Park. I was in class, And we're like, yeah, who's in class, bro? What are you talking about? So we got to let the whole thing go. When we get out to the parking lot after practice, me and Lenny are like, dude, that was us burning out in your truck. And he's like, you guys got to take my truck. After that, we didn't joyride in his truck for a while, but just one of the funniest things. And again, I can't tell you how funny it was being on the cross country team in high school because we got away with so much. Like, me and my buddies thought we were like the good, innocent kids all through high school because we didn't drink or party very much until senior year because of cross country. And we would just go out, and instead of partying and drinking and talking to girls, we were out, messing with neighborhoods and doing stuff that we considered, childish fun. But again, just really funny to look back on. We were involved in so many incidents in the Northern Kentucky area that nobody realized was us because why would the cross country team be doing these things? That's just how everybody looked at us. So it was just really funny. And as we got older, it kind of started to reflect on those. It's always a good laugh and a funny memory to have. But that one in particular, that's one of the greatest burnouts. And Lenny could burn out any vehicle. He had a 2001 Toyota Sienna that he would drive around and do the absolute some of the most wicked burnouts I have ever seen in a minivan. So putting him in a truck that actually had the better capability of burning out, the donuts that we were spinning in that parking lot, I will never forget. So yeah, that was today's story. Shout out my buddies from the high school cross country team. They'll be friends of mine for the rest of my life, and yeah, we'll be back in more episodes soon. Talks with Tom.
Taking shots by the lake till I can't even breathe no more, see no more. I was riding around town thinking to myself, is it gonna get easier? I'll be up and away up the street and bake, but I can't even breathe no more. What's it to me? What can I see? Taking shots by the lake till I can't